So here's my biggest struggle, and I think a lot of people struggle with this too. I mean, even as I just sit here, there's so many things that can distract me, take my attention. Like there's noises in the background, and I'm here, I want to do this. If I say this, I mean sitting here making this video. You know, this is my biggest struggle. My biggest struggle is to sit here and do this in a way where I can tap into the things that I want to speak about and talk about. So what tends to happen with me is I tend to find myself in a place, we got the video camera up, we got the sound stuff in, and then I start getting distracted. There's a bird or a noise or a person walking by or, you know, things like that that can distract me from doing the thing I actually want to do, which is sit here, make this video, and talk with you, and share some stuff. And I find that a lot of people do this too. You know, I work with these athletes, cricketers, and a lot of them struggle with the same thing. So I'm assuming that there's a lot of people there struggling with the same thing, and perhaps you, watching this video, struggle with the same thing. You know, I don't know why, but we have these, in my mind, we have these crazy, incredible ideas and things in our minds that we want to achieve. And in all likelihood, you're the same. In all likelihood, you're sitting there and you're thinking of ways to make more money, or ways to express yourself more, or ways to live the life that you want to live. Whether it be freedom or a sense of achievement or satisfaction or fulfillment. And I have this belief that in life, you know, we find reasons and excuses of not doing those things. We call it things like fears we have. We call it things like, you know, I just can't. And what I find is that I do the exact same thing. So this is my biggest struggle. My biggest struggle is taking my crazy, incredible, phenomenal, awesome, wow ideas and making them real. So here I am, sitting, doing this video. And I've been thinking about this quite a lot. And the only way I can think about this is to explain a little bit about where I come from and what I do and how things for me have unfolded. So I started coaching cricket when I was 18 years old, straight out of school. And at that point in time, and this is about almost 20 years ago, at that point in time, there was no such thing as a cricket coach, really, in the sense that they are there today. When I told my parents that's what I want to do, at that point in time, there was resistance from their side. But you know what? I trusted my gut at that point in time, and I said, you know what? This is what I want to do. I want to be a cricket coach. So off I went, and I studied the stuff I studied, and did the courses that I could do in order to coach cricket. And then very early on, like I was about 20 years old, I realized that there's more to this than just a skill side. I coached Johnny and Paul or Peter or whoever in the same way, yet they develop in different ways. And I realized that there's like a mindset, mental component to the whole thing, and that the way somebody thinks what they can achieve, they can or they can't. And it's remarkable how even in 8-year-olds, as an example, that already exists. I mean, I look at my own son, and he sometimes tries stuff once, and then he says, I can't do this. So since that time, I've been like very driven to find out more about the mind and how the mind works and how it affects performance at the end of the day. And then in 2009, I was fortunate enough to meet a guy at a cricket course, who spoke about the mental side, and I was fascinated by what he did and what he spoke about and how he spoke about it. And I realized that that's what I want to do. So obviously I went up to him and I said, what did you study to do what you do? He told me, and off I went and I studied this wonderful, phenomenal thing that allowed me to do mental coaching. But at the same time, what I didn't realize was I signed up for my own life change at that point in time. And I went on the first day of this mental course, and I can remember wanting to jump up and run out the door, because I had this immense feeling that things in my own life was going to change, and change in a remarkable way, which I didn't initially want, but needed at the time. But I definitely didn't want it. And what I realized was, through that, is I found my voice, and I found this incredible system and then these incredible tools to help people shift their mindset and help people, change their behavior or change their performance. And my immediate thing out of that was, I got to go make money out of this, to be perfectly honest. And I remember I went into the corporate world and tried putting on a suit and a tie, and it was just not for me. Like, I like sport, I like that environment, I like dressing in the shoes that I dress in, which is more sporty, and the clothes that I dress in, it fits more with who I am and the kind of person I see myself as being. But nonetheless, it took me quite a while, and now for about 3 years I've been involved with cricketers and kind of the mental side of that. And I find that we have these wonderful conversations about their hopes and their dreams and their things they want to achieve, just like I have those things for me, and I'm sure you have for you. And what I also find is that there's a big mental component involved between actually doing the things you say you want to do, or doing the things that your mind perceives, which are these wonderful, as I say, crazy, awesome, phenomenal ideas. And then somehow we don't do them. So I'm going to give you 5 reasons in my mind why we don't do the things we do. So the first reason from a mental point of view why we don't do the things we do is we carry with us things about ourselves that is not helping us in any way. So things we try and convince ourselves of, like we say to ourselves, you know what, I can't do that. I don't believe I can do that. I don't have the skill to do that. I don't have the resources to do that. So we make it about ourselves, and we find these things about ourselves. I'm not big enough, I'm not tall enough, I'm not smart enough, I don't come from the right family. We find these things, or the right background, that holds us back from doing the things we want to do. The second thing we use is, and I think we're really good at this, is we use others. So even if I think about me making this video, worry about what clothing am I going to wear, how am I going to look, what are people going to think about what I have to say, how's my parents going to think of it when they watch this video, what's my wife going to think, what's my son going to think, what's the people I work with going to think. It's like all this stuff goes through my mind, and then it drives me to this point where I go, no, you know what, let me rather not do this. Let me rather stay away from this, because it's just going to be too difficult or whatever. The next thing we do is we go down this road where we say, I don't have the skills, or I don't have the resources, or I don't have the know-how to do this. The cool thing is, we can learn how to do it. Like even me sitting here, there's a bunch of stuff I had to learn to do. And there's probably a bunch of more stuff I will keep learning to do. But we use that as an excuse. We say, well, I've never done that in my life before. I don't know if I can speak in front of people. I don't know if I can talk loud enough or say things in a cool enough way, or I don't know. I don't know if I can learn to do that skill, but I know that skill is really needed in order to get me to where I want to be. So go learn the skill, in my mind. The next thing that we do is we look at kind of like the spaces we find ourselves in. So what's the environment I'm in? So perhaps you're in a job that you don't like, or you're in a team that that things are just not clicking for you, and then we use that as an excuse, like, oh yeah, no, I'm not performing at my best, I'm not doing my best because I'm in this team or in this environment, or in I find myself in a world where the people around me is just so negative, so I also have to be negative. And again, in my mind, it's an excuse we use. We look at the space we find ourselves in, and we say, oh well, at the end of the day, therefore I can't do that wonderful thing that I want to do. And then the last thing that we use is our perception and our sense of time. Time is a concept that we have created that governs a large part of our lives, and we use this concept to keep us away from stuff. When we say things like, I don't have time, I can't make time, can't find the time for, or yeah, there's just, I don't know. I'm struggling to find more examples here, but time plays a large part in what keeps us away from the things we actually want to achieve. Like, even if I just think of myself, so after having studied in 2009, it took me about four years, I think, to figure out exactly what I want to do with all this mental coaching stuff. And then for the last 2-3 years, I've been doing that stuff. And then in doing it, I just realized more and more and more how I want to do it. And I have this wonderful idea to do a lot of stuff online, to make these videos, to share knowledge, experience, and things with individuals, athletes, sports people, anybody who's really interested. But it's taken me, since having made up my mind about that, it's taken me 12 months to sit here. It's taken time to get to this point where I just say, you know what, I've had enough in my life with all the excuses that I've put out there. So at this point in time, I really don't care, and I know it doesn't sound great, but I really don't care how this video turns out. I don't really care what you think about watching it. I really don't care how it sounds at this point in time. Even though I know those things are important when trying to connect with people online and trying to create a brand, and I've listened to all these things about all these people that tell you how to be online and how to market yourself. Even though I know there's a lot of things that's important, I also know that if I don't take this first step in sitting here and making this video, irrespective of how it turns out, irrespective of how it looks or sounds, I will never do it. And that is my biggest struggle. That is my biggest struggle, is getting to this point where I just do it. And the way I went about this was, I decided there's a big rubbish bin, and whatever is holding me back from doing this, I just chuck inside that rubbish bin. Now, you might have a different method of doing that. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody that way. That's why there are people like mental coaches and psychologists and people that you can go see to help you with these things, or the things that you feel you need to kind of work through in order to get to a point to do. I think I've chosen this route to say, I want to fast track this, so I'm going to stop making excuses and I'm going to just start doing things and then see what comes of it. So I'm going to post videos, hopefully regularly. Not hopefully, I'm going to post videos regularly and just see what comes of it. And I know if I don't do it, nothing's going to come of it. So other than that, I don't really have much else to say, other than good luck. I'm the champion grower, and grow your champion with me. See, even I suck at this because these people tell you got to finish these videos in a cool way, and I don't know how to do that. And but I'd rather just sit here and do it and be awkward with it, and it's uncomfortable and I'm stuttering. But the fact is, I'm here. There's a bird over there in the distance. It can distract me, but you know what? Good on you, mate. I'm sitting here making my video, and I wish for you the same. All the best.